So in this video, let's see about the salient features of the Indian Constitution. The first most foremost feature of our Indian Constitution is the lengthiest attribute of our Constitution. Originally, our Constitution had 395 articles, but now it has 448 articles, which is organized into 25 parts, 12 schedules, with 5 appendices, and as of January 2017, it is having 101 amendments. If we compare our constitution with other countries, US has 7 articles, Canada has 47 articles, and Australia has 128 articles. But our constitution as of now has 448 articles, and thereby, obviously, with no doubt, it is the lengthiest constitution in our world. So, what are the factors that made our constitution such a lengthy one? There are a lot of provisions which were included to avoid some of the difficulties which were experienced in the working of the other constitution. It was actually the product of our founders of our constitution who foresaw there might be loopholes if you are not including some provisions. So to avoid these loopholes, they actually inserted many provisions by understanding the drawbacks of various constitutions of the world, and thus our constitution is, has become a lengthy one due to one of this factor. Other factor is it contains a structure not only for the central provisions but also for the state. So the attachment of the state provisions has made our constitution further lengthier. Another factor is the vastness of our country and also the presence of the various caste, religion, language, and also to address the problems related to these divisions. Some provisions are inserted which made our constitution voluminous. And also, our constitution has adopted a lot from the Government of India Act 1935, which was introduced during the British Raj, and which itself was a very bulky document, and thereby making our constitution further lengthy. And also, it contains detailed provision for the center-state relationship. And last but not the least, there are some provisions for the special status states like Jammu Kashmir and Assam, Mizoram, Nagaland, etc. So all these factors has contributed more provisions to our constitution and hence large number of articles, and thereby making our constitution the lengthiest constitution in the world. The second feature of our constitution is the following phrase, which is presented in the preamble, which actually promotes and establishes our state as a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. We all know that by the word sovereign, we mean that our country has supreme and absolute control without interference of the other foreign bodies in its administration as well as in exercise of its power. So India is independent in ruling its own state as well as its affairs. And by the term socialist, we mean that democratic socialism, where the nationalization has been done in certain cases and privatization has been done in certain cases. So it's a concept of mixed economy according to India, and this has been done to promote the social equality, political equality, economic equality. And by the word secular, we mean that our state is impartial to all the religion and there is no discrimination on the grounds of the religion. And by the word democratic, we mean the words of the Abraham Lincoln, that is, it is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So we people actually elect the representative who actually takes decision on behalf of us. And by the word republic, we mean that actually in India there is no hereditary system of rule. So our country is ruled by the elected representative of the people, who is nothing but the President of India, who actually is considered as the chief or the chief head of the state or executive head of the state, and he is for a tenure of 5 years. So instead of giving provision to the monarchy form of democratic politics, we have given provision to the republic form of democratic politics. So this is one of the feature of our Indian constitution. The third most feature is the blend of rigidity and flexibility. So actually this is in the connotation with respect to the special procedure for the constitutional amendment. So if we take the UK constitution, it's an unwritten constitution where the amendments are actually pretty easy and thereby making it a flexible constitution. If we take the USA constitution, it is a written constitution and the amendments are therefore difficult and thereby making it a rigid constitution. So if we take India, India is a mix of both the flexibility as well as the rigidity. The reason is because there are certain laws where we need simple majority, hence it is flexible. And there are certain laws where we need the special majority, and therefore it is difficult and hence it is rigid. So that's why our constitution has a blend of both rigidity and flexibility. The fourth feature of our Indian constitution is the inclusion of the fundamental rights. This fundamental right was not present in the Government of India Act 1935, where we have sourced many of the provisions in our constitution. And also fundamental rights along with the fundamental duty is called as the conscience of the constitution. So actually this fundamental rights protects against the arbitrary and the absolute exercise of power by the state on the citizens. So by fundamental right we mean it is only absolute, it is not absolute. There are certain restrictions and means it is actually qualified. And the next important feature of our Indian constitution is the fundamental duties. So this fundamental duties was introduced by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, and actually it is a set of 10 fundamental duties initially, but now one more duty is added in 2011, hence there is a total of 11 fundamental duties. And actually these fundamental duties requires the citizen to observe the norms of democratic conduct as well as the democratic behaviors. And then there is another important basic feature of the Indian constitution is the directive principles of state policy. So this actually gives positive direction to the state to promote the welfare of the people. So it is not justiciable, but it is fundamental for the governance. That means it cannot be enforced in the court of law. However, the major aim of this directive principle of state policy is to ensure that social justice and economic justice is secured to all citizens whenever it makes any laws or legislatures. And then we have the independent judiciary, which means our judiciary, which is responsible for upholding the structures and the functions of the various organs created by the constitution. And also it is independent of the executive organ as well as the legislative organ of the government. Judicial review aspect of our judiciary ensures that the other organs of the government, particularly the legislature and the executive, does not impinge into the spheres or the powers of the other rights of the other organs. And also the appointment and the transfer in the case of judges cannot be done without this Chief Justice of India's consultation. Hence, it is rightly said that our judiciary is independent. And also we have integrated judiciary. That means we have at the national level Supreme Court, at the state level High Court, at the district and the lower level we have subordinate courts. All these are in one single hierarchy with the Supreme Court at the top. Single citizenship. So through the concept of single citizenship, India ensures that all citizens are equal irrespective of the place where he has born or where he is having resident, provided he is in the territory of India. So whereas in the USA we have dual citizenship where they are actually the citizens of USA as well as the citizens of the state. But in India there is no concept of state citizenship There is only a concept of national citizenship, which is India. Universal adult franchise. Every adult who has reached the age above 18 years has the right to elect the representatives for the legislatures. And this is assured and ensured by the Independent Election Commission of India. And then we have federal structure of the government, which is one of the important basic feature of our Indian constitution. As per this, government is functioning at two levels, one at the national level, that is at the central level, another at the state level, which is through the state government. And also, even though we have two levels of government, it is always the union government which dominates over the state government due to the availability of the extra power, particularly president rule, appointment of the governor by the center, declaration of the emergency provisions, all are all under the control of the union government, and hence the union government dominates over the state. Emergency provisions, if we take, during the timeline of emergency, our federal system of government will become unitary in character, which means normal distribution of the power between the center and the state will undergo major changes. And also the parliament will be empowered to make any changes in the state list in any manner. And also the financial arrangement between the center and the state can be altered during the emergency provisions. And the second important feature of the Indian constitution is the parliamentary form of government. At the time of drafting our constitution, we had two choices, either to go for the presidential system or for the parliamentary system. But in the presidential system, the executive and the legislators will be different. If it is different, the review and all also it becomes compartmentalized, and also the review of the performance will be happening only after 4 or 5 years. But at that time, where we need where we are in need of a dire governance, we felt that the parliamentary system is very suitable because the executive will be very much responsible for his actions to the legislature, who are the representatives of the people. And third most important feature of our Indian constitution is the system of local governance. So this is organizing village panchayats as the units of self-governance. This was actually brought forward by the 73rd Amendment Act of 1992, which has inserted the Part 9 into our Indian Constitution, which uh, which is explained by the Schedule 11. So as per this, we have three-tier panchayat system at the village level, intermediate level, and district level. And also there is a reservation of the seats for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and one-third of the seat for the women for the direct elections. And also, election commission and the finance commission will be ensuring that the panchayat elections and the finance are used properly. And also, the 74th Amendment Act of 1992 has inserted Part 9A into our constitution, which is containing the provisions explained in the 12th schedule. As per this act, we can have three-tier Nagar Palika system, so thereby empowering the urban people to manage their own affairs. Thus, our constitution has given to the panchayat as well as the municipality the system of local self-government. Secularism, as I already mentioned, it's the principle by which the state will be impartial to all religions. The state does not discriminate on the grounds of religion anyone. And also, the constitution regards the religion as the private affair of the individual. And another feature is the special attention to the scheduled areas and the autonomy provisions to certain areas, which means special attentions are particularly needed for the northeast as well as central parts of India, where we feel that the culture of the place is very unique and it needs to be protected. And last but not the least, affirmative action. As the SCs and STs are the weaker section of the society. Our constitution has added certain provisions to ensure the development and the upliftment of this weaker sections of the society, and also it ensures okay the welfare is attained for these SCs and STs of our country. So these are the basic features or the salient features of the Indian Constitution.